Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi zidni ilma. Welcome to today's class. I hope and pray that you're doing well and that you are happy to learn. So put your hands up if you can hear me. I need a show of hands to confirm you can see my screen and you can hear me.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, we can, Mrs. Shakil. We can hear you and we can see the screen as well.
Jazakumullah, jazakumullah. Okay, so today, as you can see from the screen, we're in week 5, but we are revising some of the rules that we have learnt before. So start jotting out what you can see on the screen. And this is from the student handout. And I will ask one student to join me. So you should be sitting in a nice, quiet place. And when I ask you to unmute, please unmute and start joining me. So if your hand is up, I will understand that you would like to read with me. Okay? So if your hand is up, you want to read with me, and I will ask Humda to join me. Assalamu alaikum, Humda.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you, beta?
How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking. And how are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, that's brilliant. Alhamdulillah. So can I get you to read this quote from Surah Al-Muzammil? And that is chapter 73, verse 5.
And recite the Quran slowly and thoughtfully.
Lovely. And can I ask you to also read question number 1 for me?
Yes. Short, stretch, vowels.
Yes. Strokes
are called harakat.
Yes, well done. Harakat. So short stretch vowels or strokes are called harakat. Okay. They
are all one count in length. Letters bearing these signs are called mutaharrik.
Okay, jazakumullah. Thank you so much. Lovely hearing your voice. Thank you for participating. I will ask somebody else to join me now. Okay, so Assalamu alaikum, Zara. Assalamu alaikum, Zara. How are you? I'm asking you to unmute. How are you, beta?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Can I get you to read, thank you for asking as well. Can I get you to read question number 2?
Okay. The word sukoon is another name for jazm. A letter bearing a sukoon is called sakin. It connects to the previous mutaharrik letter.
Okay.
Okay, Jazakumullah to Mrs. Shakil. So just a quick reminder that now we are beginning week number 5. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, by the way. I hope everybody has their ID on display, not just students, but teachers also, please. Make sure your correct ID is displayed because we have to go into our breakout room soon. This is what we're doing. This week, we're going to do some more rules. This was the handout you should have received, all of you. Can I have a hands up? Can I have a hands up? Who received? Put your hands down for now if you've got, I'm going to ask you a question. Put your hands up if you've received the student handout. Have you received the student handout? I've got 83 of you here at the 88 of you here. How many have their hands up? Only 18? That's not very good. All of you should have received this student handout. All of you. If your parents are on the groups, your parents should be sharing it with you. I've got 21 out of 89. That's no good. We need all of you to have this handout because it has all the rules like this that you're going to revise. 23, I need more. Okay, so for example, it's got here, This this is from the Quran actually, and this is the reason why we say ta'awuz, right? It's why we ask Allah for protection against Satan before we begin recitation of the Quran. Okay, it's 24. That's still not enough. It should be everybody's hand up. Every student should have their hand up. Again, just a quick reminder, could you just label yourselves correctly? Teachers also. It's 6 o'clock now. Before we go in, I would just like to ask, I'm going to unmute somebody to read this phrase from the Quran, this verse, sorry, so that we understand why it's important to recite the Quran. So I'm going to ask someone to unmute. If you've got your hand up.
Assalamualaikum.
Islam, Imrana, you've got to say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem before you recite this. Okay, so can you say A'udhu Billah?
Should I read the phrase or A'udhu?
First A'udhu, and then you read the phrase of the Quran, yeah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فإذا قرأت
So that's a ra, sorry, that's a ra. قرأت القرآن
فإذا قرأت
قرآن
فاستعذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Jazakumullah. And translation, please. And when you? Are you unmuted, Bida? No? You are unmuted, no? Okay. Bushra, are you there? Bushra?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam, can you do the translation, please?
Okay. And when you recite the Quran, seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected.
Oh, sorry. This is Bushra. Sorry, this is our Tilawat teacher today. Sorry. Okay, excellent. All right. So this is why you are going to Jazakumullah Imrana for that. This is why your teacher now, our teacher is going to recite ta'awuz, okay? Because, and also she recited very nicely because even though she may have misread a couple of letters because of the font here, sometimes you might not recognize the letter because of the writing, but she corrected herself. Even here, Billah, she was written, and then she knows a particular rule that we'll learn in a few weeks' time called Lamul Jalala. So she even corrected herself here, and I put her on the spot and I made her read something that she hadn't prepared. So mashallah, she read it very nicely, and it was just to remind all of you why we read this prayer, okay? Why we ask Allah's protection from Satan. Okay, sorry, Bushra Shazad Saiba, if you can start and then you'll leave a gap in between. But everybody, I want you to repeat after the teacher, please, out loud. Jazakumullah.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Jazakumullah Bushra Saiba, and we'll see you back at the end, and I hope everybody else returns back to do the dua. This is Surah Ikhlas. This is the surah that we have to learn by heart. Now, many of you might think, well, I already know this by heart. What do I have to do this week? Well, the idea is that we pay attention to the rules that we're learning and we make sure that we apply them when we recite this surah. Sometimes when you learn a surah by heart, when you've memorized it and then you read it, you might forget to apply certain rules. Okay, so there were a couple of there's a couple of rules in here that are important. The first thing you've got to know about Surah Ikhlas is that with these, not Bismillah, not verse number 1. So let's talk about verse number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, with the exception of one letter. Okay, every single letter is every single vowel letter, mutaharrik letter, is short. So every single vowel is short except for one. So here, qul huwallah, only this Allah, this lam here, this has a long vowel of 2. Everything else is short. Okay, so we shouldn't say qul huwallahu, it's qul huwallahu ahad. Similarly, this is short dhamma, it's just a dhamma. The same here, they're all short except for the fatah shbaya on this lam. Here, similarly, everything is short. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Yulad. So where is that long vowel? See if you can spot it before I do. It's here. Okay, waw madya, here. It's a long vowel, okay? And then again here, all of them are short except for one. Let's see if you can spot it. Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Where was that long vowel? It was here, right? Dhamma shbaya, the long stretch dhamma, right? Inverted dhamma, okay? So keep all the vowels very short except for that one vowel in each of the verses, just the one long vowel, okay? The second thing you will have noticed is that Allah's name is read slightly differently, sometimes what we call thin and thick. Now you're going to learn this rule, I think it's going to be after half term. So next, this is the last week before half term. You've got 1 week of holidays. During that 1 week of holidays, I want you to learn all of these rules. Now this one in purple here, you're going to come across that tomorrow, okay? All of these rules of Noon, Sakin, and Tanween, you're going to have a week to revise them. When you come back, we're going to start learning new rules. That's why you have to learn all of the rules properly. The best way to practice is daily recitation of the Holy Quran. So the great thing is that because you read Quran every day, you get plenty of practice. And when you come back, we will talk about thin and thick letters, and we will explain to you why sometimes we say Bismillah and sometimes we say Huwallah. So Illah, Allah, okay, Allah, like this. It's thin and it's thick, but we'll do that when we come back. Now, the rules that you have to pay attention to are this one, yeah, and this one, okay? So just a reminder, if we look up here, idgham is when one letter blends into the other. Here it's Noon Sakin, kun, yakun has blended into lahu, and it's become yakullahu. Gunna or no gunna? Shout it out. Gunna or no gunna here? No gunna, without gunna, okay? Is this idgham kamil, complete assimilation, complete merging, or naqis, partial? It is complete, okay? It is kamil, complete, because there's no leftover sound, right? Kullahu, okay? Because it's the lam. Can you see the lam there? Lam, it's not a ra, but it's a lam, and you merge the end sound completely. Kullahu, yakullahu, not yakunla, right? Not yakunla, no gunna, we don't need a gunna, just straightforward lam mushaddad. Yakullahu. So that's idgham. Now, the great thing is you've probably read it like that for most of your life, you know, since you've known this surah, but you don't know the rule, the name of the rule. Now we know the name of the rule. It is idgham kamil, complete assimilation. Now this one, this is also a rule of Noon Sakin Tanween. This time you've got the Tanween, kufu one, and the word kufu one is followed by ahad. Ahad. Now the ahad is followed by a particular letter of the throat. Ahad. Okay. Therefore, the Tanween, how is it read? Is it read ikhfa? Sorry, you don't know ikhfa. Sorry, Iqlab, exchanging, idgham, merging, or izhar, clearly. How do we read it? We read it clearly, because this letter here, it's actually called, we actually call it Hamza, okay, is here, one of the letters of the throat. Kufu. So we don't do this, right? You don't do this. You don't say kufu one ahad. This is, you're giving it gunna. We don't want to give it gunna because it is read izhar. It's the letter of the throat, okay? So it will be kufu one ahad, okay? Again, you probably read it like that all the time, but now you have to pay attention and make sure you don't read it with gunna. So that was me talking quite a long time about Surah Ikhlas because it's revision of last week's rules. You should know exactly what I'm talking about because, of course, you were here last week and you were here to see these signs. So just a quick reminder, these are the three or four stop signs or signs of waqf that we have learned so far. Al-waqf al-tam, the perfect stop, the complete stop. Al-waqf al-lazim, the compulsory stop. Al-waqf al-mutlaq, the absolute stop. Anyway, the point is, regardless of their names, you need to know what to do when you come to them. So al-waqf al-tam, it was the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to stop. So when you see the square sign or this round sign, it's better to stop. This little upside down heart is where some scholars, they thought, the early scholars, when they were writing up the Quran, they felt, well, this is where the Prophet would stop, or this wasn't where it is waqf al-tam, it's not waqf al-tam. So they were kind of, some agreed, some disagreed, and so it's been put there, so you have the choice there to stop or to continue. Al-waqf al-lazim, according to the translation, you must stop there, okay? Otherwise it will not read properly in terms of the translation. And al-waqf al-mutlaq is similar. You should stop, but not compulsory, okay? And I did show you an example. This is, by the way, you have this. You should have this on your phones or your laptops, because this was sent to you by your teachers. And if you don't have it, you must have it sent now. So all of you should have this. And I try to show you to illustrate why we have these different stop signs, because they're like punctuation marks. Now, the red, underlined red text corresponds to this translation here, okay? So these words, ulaika lam yakunu, would start like that. Such can never frustrate here. It's the red words. The purple line is the purple translation here. Punishment, it starts with punishment, will be doubled for them. And then here, ma kanu, nor can they. So here, this orange, okay? Now the point is that by inserting these stop signs, one is waqf al-lazim, then there's waqf al-mutlaq, and then finally you have al-waqf al-tam. Okay, there's a waqf al-tam. Where is it? Here, right at the bottom. There was a page break, so that's why it's a page break here in the text. So there's your waqf al-tam at the end, and that corresponds to a full stop. And here as well, you kind of pause as well. So the point about this is, have a look at this. It's not something that I can explain to you and you'd understand it instantly. You look at the words, in the English translation, and then look at those stop signs and try to understand, yes, that's why that stop sign is there, so that we pause. And when you pause, you give something effect. Yeah, it becomes more important. When you stop, when you pause after saying something, it means you pay attention. Okay. And then I showed you here how you figure out your chapter and your verse. Okay, so if you were to stop here in your daily reading, it would be chapter 11, Surah Hud, verse 21. I hope everybody's given their QRS to their teachers. Okay, now the new rule for today, the stop sign is la. La, can you see here, la? La means no in Arabic, says no. Na'am is yes, la is no. So no. What they're saying is no, don't stop. So when it comes within a verse, it's telling us not to pause or stop. That's waqf. The word for pausing is waqf. You must continue. Okay. And again, it's to do with the meaning of the word. Okay. So, for example, here, see, the thing is, you might want to take a pause to take a breath, right? But what it's saying to you is don't pause. Now, if you absolutely have to take a breath, and you stop here, go back a bit, go back to the next, to the previous words. So it could be either tufsidu or it could be fil ardi, and then continue on, connect it. They don't want you to break up these words, otherwise you will lose the importance of the meaning. Okay, again, they're just helping you. Okay, they're helping, you're being helped. Okay, that's what la means. Okay, so if you see a la coming up, don't think of it as a comma or a full stop or somewhere you're going to pause. It means don't take a breath there. So then you've got to look further along the line and think, oh, there's a jeem here. Okay, I'll stop at the jeem. I won't stop at the la. Okay, and then you can continue on. Now here, the la is on top of that little upside down heart. Okay, which indicates where some scholars believe that it was a stop. Okay, we should stop. So it actually gives you the choice. You can either stop here and follow the bottom sign, or you can follow, it's not actually a sign in itself. You can follow that, or you can follow the top one and not, and continue, okay? And it is preferable, well, if you do continue, can you see here, there's that baby mim maqluba, right? They put that there so that if you do continue, alimun and bima, you would get iqlab, exchange, because the tanween is followed by a ba. Alimun bima, like this. So they're helping you. However, if you were to stop, then it's just alim, stop, and then bima. Okay, so just look at that la, look, it means no, no, don't stop. That's the new rule for today. Okay, and then sometimes you'll get it on top of a verse end sign, okay, like here and here. It means that you can stop as a verse end, you can, or you can choose to not stop as the la indicates, okay? Right, so here. Now, this is something different. Just for your attention here. Sometimes you'll get two regular stop signs, like a la and a jim. This is called alamatain, okay? This means two signs. And in that situation, you take the upper mark. In this situation, it's not the same, okay? It's not about, this is not alamatain here. This is not alamatain because it's al-waqf tam is at the bottom. That's a perfect stop there. And the la is just allowing you, if you want to continue, you can, okay? It's hinting to you, yes, it's good to continue if you want to, you can, that's perfectly okay. But here, the la on top of the jim means the la is saying you should just follow the la. You should stop, you should continue, okay? Right, I've put this here. I hope that doesn't confuse you. I had these slides and I thought I'll put every single la that there is, okay? But we'll revisit this just to make sure, because in your reading, everyday reading, you might get la on its own. So you might get la like this, where it's been circled. That's quite easy and straightforward. But then you might get la like this, and you need to understand that you have a choice here, okay? And then finally, you might get la here, which means you must follow the top sign, just in case. I don't want to confuse you, but you should be aware that there's various options, okay? Various options. But this one here, where it comes in the middle of a verse, there's no other sign to be seen, you must continue, okay? That's very, very definite. And you'll get more practice as you go along. Now, quick reminder, this week and last week, the week before that, we were doing the sounds, how they changed, nun, sakin, and tanween sounds. And we told you how in English, you've got this letter T and it's tree, three, this, nay, it's t, th, the, sh, and ch, okay? And the T sound is said so many different ways, and we don't know. We don't know. There's nothing in English that really tells. Even where it says a TH sound, even these TH sounds are different. Okay, one's a th, one's a the, one's like a tha with the 3 dots. One is like a tha with the 1 dot, right? But in Arabic, there'll be a rule. There'll be a rule, either a separate letter or there'll be a rule. Okay, and this is what happens to the N sound. It can change. You remember this? This is what we're talking about, the N sound of the tanween or the nun sakin, okay? Muhaytun, n, but it turns into a meme, iqlab, right? Because it's followed by a ba. I'm just quickly running through this because this is all revision. You should know this. We did it last week. You have these slides, go over them in your own time, okay? And we talked about meme maqluba, right? The meme of exchange. It can sometimes be called meme saghira, and the rule is called iqlab, okay? That's the name of the rule, okay? And this is the name. We've got this, fill in the blanks. You can fill that in, send a picture to your teacher if you want to. And this is what we've done so far. Okay, we did this last Thursday as well. Just a quick reminder, how does the N sound, the N sound change when it's followed by these letters? Sometimes it's clearly read, sometimes it merges with a gunna, sometimes it merges without a gunna, and sometimes it changes into a meme sound, meme sakin sound, okay? So we covered all of these. We use the words izhar for a whole week. We use that word for a whole week. I showed you these letters in the throat, and then for a whole week we did idgham with merging and idgham without merging. With merging with gunna and without gunna. Okay, they're both merging. Do you remember we said like it's like gum, chewing gum, idgham, because sometimes you might swallow it, but you shouldn't really, and most of the time it stays in your mouth. So there's the gunna sound that stays in your mouth, and sometimes you swallow it completely, etc. So, and then there's iqlab, which ends with a but sound, which is easy because it's with the letter ba. So when the ba follows the nun sakin, and then exchanges. I'm going through it very, very super quick because I'm not explaining it to you. Today I'm not, except for that rule of la, I'm not explaining anything to you. I'm just reminding you. You're going to go into your breakout rooms now, and you're going to go with your teachers soon, and then read with those rules. Now, tomorrow we're going to do the 4th and final rule. And the only way to understand and to remember the fourth and final rule is to remember these rules. The way we remember those letters, that there's 15 of them, ta, tha, jim, dal, zal, za, sin, صاد ضاد طاء ظاء فاء شين فاء قاف كاف, right? 15 letters. Nobody memorizes these letters. What we do is we memorize these other letters. We memorize the letters of izhar, huruf halaqi, letters of the throat. Then we memorize the idgham letters, the merging letters, yarmalun. Then we remember that Iqlab refers to the letter ba. If you remember all of these letters and how they change the end sound and what rule they are, then you'll have no problem in doing tomorrow's rule, inshallah. Okay, so in order to get ready for tomorrow's rule, the final rule, you have to go through this handout and memorize all these letters, okay, how they affect the n sound, okay? And this was an example. It's in your handout. Have a look at this. There's two rules here that are present, okay? Izhar, reading it clearly, and idgham naqis, partial assimilation, where you have a gunna, okay? So the blue one is absolutely no gunna, anhu, and the other ones are with gunna. There's 4 examples of idgham naqis. And then we have this, okay? Now this is really important because you're going to get this again. You should memorize this prayer. It's a super long prayer, but you can do a bit every term. So let me show you how we explain this to you. There's also this exercise if you want to do this. We did this, you see if you can recognize these numbers and get the information from the screen. Okay, you can do this in your own time. QRS, please give your chapter and verse number. You must do that. Now here, this is a tick list, right, of all the things that you're doing right now. So for example, here, if you learn the first part of the prayer, Allahumma anis wahshati fi qabri, you know it by heart, tick it, yeah? And next bit, Allahumma arhamni bil Qur'an al-azim. Next one, you know it, that's part 2. وَاجْعَلْهُ لِي إِمَامًا وَنُورًا وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً. You go, Allahumma dhakkirni minhu ma naseet, and there's number 4. And we did that 1 week at a time for you to learn. And this week, we're going to be doing the next one. Similarly, you should know all of this by heart, the first ruku of Surah Baqarah. Then we did Surah Nasr, and then last week Surah Lahab. Okay, and these are all the rules that we've learned. Okay, have a look at the fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Okay, if you do the fill in the blanks, that will help you. And then this is your QRS. Give your chapter and your verse every week to your teacher. Okay, so this is a tick list for you, not for me. Excuse me. Okay. So I need to show you this so that you use your handout effectively, okay? And then you finally come in and you make sure you log in on time, okay? So this is a quick reminder. We're going to be doing number 4 tomorrow. So you need to learn 1, 2, and 3. Be ready tomorrow with these rules. Here's another reminder of the rules that we've done so far. If something doesn't make sense, ask a teacher, okay? And today, what you're going to do today is very simple. I think you're going to do Surah Lahab possibly, actually, from last week. So let's make sure you do Surah Lahab in your prayer. We can go into our breakout rooms now.